So, hi, Lee Community Church, and anybody else who's tuning into this, as it were. And I want to talk today a little bit about how God uses seasons of isolation and what He teaches us through that time. I've come up with, in the life of this person we're going to look at, this biblical character, I've come up with 4 things that we can learn during times like this. So that's where I'm going today. First of all, apologies to those who looked at my Facebook Live post earlier in the week and probably got a crick in the neck because it went sideways on, I noticed, after I'd got it posted. So it's a learning curve we're all on. So this is new, and particularly for me, I'm learning a lot as I'm going along, but hopefully this one will work out okay. Okay, so when I did an introduction to Ian's talk last Sunday, I mentioned some of these biblical characters, and one in particular was Elijah. And we can read about Elijah in 1 Kings 17, and particularly one I'm looking at is verses 1 to 6. It says this: Now Elijah the Tishbite from Tishbe in Gilead said to Ahab, sorry, just checking we got this right, said to Ahab, As the Lord the God of Israel lives, whom I serve, there will be neither dew nor rain in the next few years except at my word. Then the word of the Lord came to Elijah, Leave here, turn eastward and hide in the Kerith ravine east of the Jordan. You will drink from the brook, and I've ordered the ravens to feed you there. So he did what the Lord had told him. He went to the Kerith ravine east of the Jordan and stayed there. The ravens brought him bread and meat in the morning and bread and meat in the evening, and he drank from the brook. Okay, well, don't know what it's like to be fed by ravens. Doesn't sound particularly nice to me. Would you want meat that some raven had carried? But probably better than starvation, which would be the opposite, the other thing that he could have had. Okay, so first thing that God does during difficult seasons. When seasons are tough, God raises people up. When seasons are tough, God raises people up. You see, Ahab was the worst king that Israel ever had. And God obviously had put it on Elijah's heart. They had to go and face up to Ahab and give him this message. There's going to be no rain. What courage it must have taken Ahab to face this king who was married to Jezebel, who led him into worshipping the false evil gods that were around at that time, and all sorts of evil, horrible practices. He would have been quite a nasty guy to have to face, to go into his palace, if he had a palace, or wherever he faced up to him, to walk in, to put himself like a lamb to the slaughter, to go forward and face him and to say this thing, took courage. But there was something that raised up in Elijah that caused him to do it, And I don't think we would have heard very much from Elijah if it hadn't have been for Ahab and having to face him. Tough seasons create resilience and faith to the man or woman of God who just focuses on him and trusts him to see them through. There's something about that when we turn to God in these times, when it's difficult, and we put our trust in him. I'm sure you found it. You've gone through tough seasons. You've just put yourself before God and prayed. And when you come out the other side, there is something in you. There's a strength in you. God has honed something in you that wasn't there before. And that will happen in this season if we trust him. I was watching Race Across the World on the television the other night. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but it's couples who join in this race. They've got to get to a particular point, but there's other points on the way that they go to. The idea is there's a big cash prize at the end, but on the way, they have to face all these difficulties, these transport difficulties and so on, to get to where they need to go. And it was interesting when they talked to the teams, how many of them had said that they were doing it because they wanted to draw closer to each other. They wanted to get to know each other better through the difficult times, through the difficult things. There was one brother and sister who admitted they always argued, and they certainly did some arguing on the camera, a little bit of bickering going on. They wanted to get to know each other better and overcome that and get to know who they really were and get back to how it was when they were growing up. And I thought that's great, isn't it? We go through difficult times and God transforms us if we let him. It's the same for us. Anything we go through, God fashions resilience and strength. I've been through some tough times. I've had times at work, for instance, in different jobs I've been in. There's been times where I would say I've faced almost persecution, difficult situations, despite doing the best I can, despite working very hard and so on. There seemed to be this almost persecution, yet I trusted God and I saw him take me through again and again and again. And so I learned more about trusting him. My faith grows as I trust him, as will yours. Second point, what works in one season won't work in the next. We have to listen to him. You have to follow the Holy Spirit for each time. You see, Elijah confronts Ahab. He says, Ahab, there's going to be no rain except at my word. Now, I can imagine Ahab probably laughing at that and saying, who is this guy? He doesn't know what he's talking about, probably turning to the people around him and saying, look at this person, thinks he's a prophet, and get him out of here. But within a few days or weeks or whatever, he begins to see there is no dew in the morning. There's no rain, no sign of clouds, nothing. Oh my goodness, this man, he's done this. How would Ahab have been? Angry, really, really angry. And you can guess who with. So God says to Elijah, run, hide, go to the Kerith brook. I'm going to look after you, but get and hide. Wait a minute. Run and hide? This is the God of angel armies telling Elijah to run and hide. What about Moses and Pharaoh? Moses confronted Pharaoh, and Pharaoh was the same, didn't listen. And God sent the plagues. How about a few plagues here that God, how about sending a few plagues and sorting this man out? No. This time, run and hide, Elijah. The time for confrontation came later. You remember the story of Elijah and the prophets of Baal? Ahab was there, the prophets of Baal were there. And that was when God said, right, now Elijah, I want you to do this. And there are times when we run and hide, if you like. Times when we just stick it out. Times when we just hang on. This is one of those times. And there's times when we rise up and we do something. We have to be aware of what God's calling us to in each situation, each season where we find ourselves. In my work situation, there were times I confronted, there were times when I just prayed and waited to see what God was going to do. And each situation, God came through for me. The person that was persecuting me, if you like, left. Each time I saw God come through, and that created within me a faith, a strength in him. We're in a strange situation. After this time, I believe the church will be much more outward looking than it's been up to now. That we will be different. We hopefully, if we spend our time with him, we will be stronger. And the next season will be glorious. And next season will be good. Here's my question to leave you with, and tune in next time, as they say, for the other 2 points. I've only done 2 today, I'm aware of that. I will give you the next 2 next time. But what does God want you to focus on in this time? What's the focus? What should you be doing? Get before God. Ask Holy Spirit, what do you want me to do now? God bless you all.